I'm going to share with you a story, actually. Her name is Sarah Mariano, and I joined this mastermind group, Archangel, that it's 60 grand a year. I'm no longer a part of that anymore, but the best thing about that was the fact that I got to meet Sarah. And picture the triangle up here again. This is a soul that embodies all three of those, like to the furthest extent. And you know about a person, you find out a lot about a person the way that they interact with their team, with their people, when people aren't watching. She shows up 100% when people are watching, 100% when no one's watching. She is the top performance stretcher in the world. And I'm all into fitness, I'm all into restorativeness. I've had many stretchers that are really good, but nothing like Sarah. And the way we met actually was kind of interesting, which was that she was stretching all of these, all the Archangel members. And I got the opportunity to get stretched by one of her stretchers. She has many of these stretchers that she has trained. And what was interesting about it was how she interacted with her stretcher. What was beautiful about that is she treated that stretcher, I remember the guy, just like family. She elevated him. And that's how she treats everybody. That's how she treats her entire team. And as we're going through the stretch, which you trained a really good one, all of them, all of a sudden, I mean, how many in this room have ever stretched? Let me just show of hands. Okay. Now, it's good for you, but when Sarah or one of her team members stretches you, your mind actually starts opening up in ways that's actually far beyond any psychedelics I've ever tried. But that was going on. And we, shortly after that, we sit down outside. Now picture all these high-achieving entrepreneurs surrounding, and they're talking about deals and businesses. And right off the bat, you and I started having a conversation about mental health, being raised in a family, an Asian family, the highs and the lows to your mental health. Within literally a minute of talking to Sarah, I tell her everything. I tell her that 7 years before that, I planned out my own suicide. I tell her the struggles of growing up in a narcissistic family. And we're going back and forth. And shortly after that, a guy named Cameron Harold, who most of you know in this room, I see him come walking over. He's making a beeline right to us. Like, whoa. And he comes over to us and he says, I'm tired of talking about business with all of these other people, and it looks like the two of you are talking about something much more important. Can I join in? And right, he opens up too. He opens up with the three of us. And I could tell you, Sarah is the restorative coach, stretcher for, you might know this guy, probably the top hip hop artist, Drake. Now, you were the stretcher for, like, you were like your client, which I think you traveled with him, was Russell Wilson. You know that guy? He was a really good quarterback. And then he kind of went off on his own, and then he got traded to Denver, and that's when, so there's something to that. some of my heroes in the NBA like DeMar DeRozan, but I got to experience, when you were in San Francisco, being stretched by Sarah was far and away just an amazing experience. She is the best, by far. And I feel like a lot has to do with the fact that you're such high character, high consciousness. And she brings that energy. She's the epitome of a member. She is the epitome of a member, someone that can show up and make this whole room, raise the level of this room, which happened when you entered the room, by the way, you and your boyfriend, Derek. But during this stretch, it was incredible. Like, not only did I get this best stretch in the world, and I just felt amazing afterwards, but it also opened my mind. And I know I can say this in this room, because all of you understand this. But I was actually able to communicate to my cousin, Carson, who took his own life 33 years ago, my original little bro, while you were stretching me. That's powerful. That is very powerful. And then, which I'm not going to ruin it, I learned about her story about resiliency. There's just this rich, incredible story of where she got to where she is. And you became my role model, because there were moments in this last year since we connected of what I went through before, where I wanted to give up, where I was second guessing myself. And I thought of you, Sarah. So without further ado, I want to introduce to you my sister, Sarah Mariano.
Wow, what an intro. Hi everybody, I'm Sarah. It's nice to meet you all. How about Dr. Vu? Is he in here right now? Wasn't that an incredible, wasn't that incredible? It made me really rethink a couple of things in my life that's going on right now, the choices I've been making. And I thought it was a great segue to what I'm going to be talking about today. So can you guys hear me in the back? Yeah? Okay. So you talked about the bioenergetic scheme, correct? And so I'm going to be talking about the movement side of things. So you talked about the choices you make in life, including your movement and your health. So I'd like to get into stretching and movement, if that's okay with you guys. It's kind of my jam. So stretching your way into a pain-free and mobile life. Sounds simple, right? Actually, it sounds like an infomercial, right? Almost too good to believe, right? Too good to be true. But what I actually wanted to talk to you guys about today is how stretching has impacted my life and my clients, and how it can impact other people in the world. So I want to share with you what I've learned through working in professional sports, okay? How it's impacted my life and how it's impacted our members. So I'll give you a little bit of background. I want to talk about the art of stretch and the art of stretching and how it's opened up so many doors for me in my life. I've always wanted to work with professional athletes since I was a little girl. I grew up idolizing Vince Carter. Do you guys know who Vince Carter is? Yeah, you said DeMar DeRozan, so Toronto Raptors. I'm from Toronto, Canada. Hey! And so I always thought, wow, I was an athlete growing up, and I thought, wouldn't it be neat to get behind the minds of some of these people who think at a high achieving level. It's incredible how they open up their bodies, how they open up their minds. So just to give you a little background, my name is Sarah Mariano, and I'm also known as the celebrity stretch therapist. And I've gotten a chance to work with some of the greats, people I've always admired. Drake is my age. We're born the same year, and we're both from Toronto, so be able to connect with him and have him as my client, where we text once in a while and I fly out and stretch him. That's a dream come true. It's something I never thought from Scarborough, actually. I'm from Scarborough, a smaller suburb of Toronto, that I'd actually get to do. Okay, so this is some of the things that we do. So right now, I fitness and education course for stretch therapy, and what we do is certify. We have over 600 people worldwide who are members of our stretch therapy. It's called the Performance Stretch System. It's something I created that was influenced by a number of things. So has anyone been Thai massage stretched? Yes, a couple of you? Awesome. So it's influenced by that. It's influenced my background as an athlete. It's also been influenced by my mobility training and flexibility training as well. So this is an example of teaching a class in Morocco. So we do courses online and all over the world, and we get to touch so many different types of people and teach them about their bodies and how they can use stretch to their benefit, how they can use it to open up a world of movement. Hey, you guys recognize this guy? Right? Who'd say, yeah, this is Mark. Okay, so I'm so glad you talked about that, because I got the privilege of stretching Mark in San Francisco. And you run, right? Now you're doing mountain climbing, something crazy, and then golf was one of your things too. So whenever I stretch people, I like to do a before and after, an assessment to see how their movement is and what kind of opportunities we have to create improvement. So we always do a movement that they do every day. Maybe it's a squat, maybe it is a golf swing. If you're a sprinter, we go through your start-stop, all those things. Knew that I wanted to stretch Mark because after he shared a story with me about all of his mental health issues, and I fully resonated with that. Do we have any other Asian people in here other than Dr. View? Your talk really resonated with me. We didn't even go into the deep tiger momming and the tiger dad stuff. But when we connected, I thought, how can I help? How can I contribute? Let me give him a stretch. All I can do right now is offer him a stretch to open up his body and mind and see what he does with it. Okay? It was my gift to you. I'm going to go over the transformation that Mark had later on. What I'd like to share is how I'd like to make an impact in this world. My goal is to inspire people to be free in their body and to be free in their minds. I love what you said to me when we spoke on the phone last week. And I was like, how can I share something that's valuable to your members? And you said, when you stretched me, Sarah, not just opened up my body, but my mind as well. And that was really powerful for me to hear. I needed to hear that because I want to know how I'm making an impact in this world and how it's going to open members and everybody else up to do the thing that they're meant to do, to live in their highest self. Okay, for stretching, the goal of stretching for me when I'm with my client is to create space, to lengthen tissue, to elongate the spine, to calm the nervous system down, to reduce stiffness, discomfort, pain, and to improve movement and flexibility and quality of life. That's a lot of things for stretching to ask, okay? So I love that you had gone through a lot of some of those things about the science behind all the inflammation and the breath work and things like that. We're actually going to do some breath work today because I want you guys to see how powerful it is. My goal when I'm working with anybody, not just these incredible people, is to create that space for them to reach their highest potential. So when I'm stretching Russ, I'm thinking, okay, I'm talking with his whole team. He has a whole performance team, nutritionists, he has a couple of quarterback coaches, he has massage therapists, stretch therapists, physical therapists, chiro, it's everything. And we're always constantly talking. And so my goal is to focus on stretching him out and create space and improve his mobility and flexibility. We don't want him to get injured. And actually, he rarely gets injured. He just had a crazy thumb injury, but other than that, he's pretty good. He's pretty solid. And so I'm thinking, okay, if we need to increase speed and we need to increase like agility, and he's feeling restriction in his hip, I'm paying attention to how can I open and create space here, and what's happening elsewhere in the body that is also causing some restriction here. So there's a lot of moving parts to when you're stretching someone and you're thinking of the highest level. It's much like, I like to use it as a metaphor for life. You know, you're talking about different parts of your life. What choices are you making in your bioenergetic scheme? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you moving? Are you choosing to stretch? Are you choosing to eat well? And so in the body, when it comes to stretching and also releasing parts of the body, I'm thinking, what is interconnected? When we do a lot of our stretching, we think fascially as well. So the fascia is the connective tissue that encapsulates and is interwoven, is also connected to other organs. So think about a chicken. You know when you eat chicken and there's that kind of filmy thing that's around it, right? But it has, some parts are really thin and then some parts are thick and connecting to another part of the chicken. That's what's going on in your body. And so that's what I have to think about when I'm stretching someone. So your liver, let's say, there's some fascia and connective tissue that's surrounding it, but it's also almost glued to another organ or another body part or another muscle. So I have to consider that. If I'm lengthening the tissue, and I'm not just massaging that spot, we're not just targeting one spot. If I'm trying to stretch this lat here, okay, it's also connected to the hip. Okay, so what's happening to the hip? What's going to happen when I lengthen this? And so the same thing when I'm working on someone like Drake. People are like, why do you need to stretch Drake? He's not a pro athlete. But he's performing on stage. He does several hundred concerts every year. I had to meet him in the UK. I had to come to Nashville. And when I saw him in Nashville, he's like, oh, like, I was like, how long into your tour have you been in? And he's like, oh, it's only been 2 months and I'm done. And he's like, I have another 5 months to go. And he's doing the same exact concert, the same exact move every single day. And so he has to consider his choices that he makes in life in order to stay in this career longevity, not get injured. And also, one of the most powerful things he had said to me is, I'm done, but I have people to pay. He's like, I'm responsible for so many people. And when we do these tours, they're our biggest money generator, and I have to pay everyone. So he doesn't want to let anyone down. So think about all that pressure. So he also has a team of people that helps him, you know, open up, stay right, so that he can give his gift to the world. Okay, this is just an example of a fascial line. So you can see, okay, there are different fascial lines. This is the spiral line, but you can see that at the bottom of your foot, it's connected through to your hip, all the way to the base of your skull. Okay, so I want you to consider that when you're stretching, when you're moving. Okay, when you're feeling tension and pain in the hip, don't just pay attention to the hip. I want you to think, what have I been doing today? Was I sitting all day? Was I leaning into one hip? Maybe there's something there I have to look at. Or have I been hunched back? Maybe I'm hunched so much here that it's tugging and pulling at my hip, for example, or my foot. So I want to do a demo. Just for demonstration purposes, we're going to just do something super basic, okay? Sure. So I want you to raise your arms overhead. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I'm going to go to side and face that wall as well.
Turn and face?
Yeah. Okay, so are you bending your elbows because you're going to hit the ceiling?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so maybe step down here onto the floor. How tall are you? 6'7"?
With extra long arms.
Oh, good Lord. Okay. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm giving you extra work.
That's all right. I stretched Serge Ibaka, and what is he, 7'3"?
Something like that.
6'11".
Yeah.
Sorry, he's not 7'3".
There we go.
6'11", okay. And like you could imagine his limbs, his like shin, and I'm stretching him, and I have to do this. I was like sweating over him, and he's from the islands, and so he liked to have his thermostat really high, and I'm like, okay, does it really have to be hot? He's like, yeah, it makes me feel like home, so I'm like dripping on him and sweating on him. Okay. All right, so Hamish.
Yes.
Can you raise your arms overhead slowly? Slowly. Nice and slow. Okay, and so what I'm looking for is how can I optimize his shoulder mobility and what's happening in his spine as well and in his hips. Mm-hmm. So there's a little bit of back bend, pushing hips. He might feel it in his lower back if he were to go even further. Yeah, and then it stops right there, and he can't straighten his elbows. Mm-hmm. So we're going to see if we can improve that. So you can lower your arms.
Perfect.
Okay, so I'm going to have you raise your arms again, same thing, but I want you to assign a value to it from 1 to 10. Don't overthink it. 10 being very smooth, 1 being like, restrictive.
Sure. 9.5.
9.5. Okay. Can you try and straighten your elbows for me?
My shirt is tight.
Oh, is it tight? Okay, that's all right. I can still see the joint.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're going to try and see if we can improve that 9 to a 10 maybe. We'll see. Maybe our goal is to see if we can get a couple more inches and also to prevent some of that back bend from happening. We want to keep the ribs down and then take the arms up into a straight line. Okay, you can lower your arms. All right, since you're nice and tall, I'm going to have you sit comfortably, yep, on the stage. Can you guys see?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna kick off my heels. I wear heels for you guys. I never wear heels. Okay, so which side did you feel was more restricted?
I am actually having some pain right through here,
Okay.
so probably this side.
Okay, the left side. All right, I'm gonna have you take your hand behind your neck, like this, like so. Okay, I don't normally stretch in a dress, so forgive me. Okay, so I'm gonna come around, I'm gonna come close to him, take a deep breath, my hands are cold, I'm sorry. Take a deep breath in. I'm gonna attach to his body and hug it, but I'm also thinking about the fascia, sticking to the fascia. So what I wanna feel is some stretch happening along his lats all the way down to his hip. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, turn to the left, and look. Use your eyes as well. Inhale, turn to the right gently. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Slowly release and turn to the left. Good. Let's do that one more time. Turn to the right. And exhale, turn to the left. Look all the way, look all the way. Okay. Beautiful. And lower that. How was that? Do you guys see a difference already? Yeah. Okay. Now, I'm gonna have you interlock your fingers behind your neck.
Like this?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it okay if I approach you?
100%.
Okay. Can I have your knees nice and wide?
Nice and wide?
Thank you. Yeah,
Okay.
perfect. Okay. Take a deep breath in. And I'm gonna have you lean into me, lean back, and relax, relax, relax. Okay, deep breath in for me. Inhale. Exhale. Can I take you back a little bit more? Is that okay? I want you to breathe into your ribs right here. And exhale out. Ah, beautiful. Inhale, I want you to draw your ribs down to your hip. Inhale. Exhale, release, and let it go. Then we're gonna fold forward, okay? And come back to it, good. And come back up. All right, let's just see what's happening here. Do you guys see a difference? This one's a little bit lower. How's this feeling right now?
Way better.
Way better.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna have you stand up, not on the stage. And you're gonna turn around,
Okay.
face there. Same thing, let's slowly, okay? And raise your arms overhead. Ooh. I'm gonna have you face the stage so that you can see from the back.
Sure.
Do you guys see that? Okay, and that feeling that you're feeling in the shoulder blade is much better now? Okay, let's straighten your elbows. Okay, so lower again. I'm gonna have you keep your rib cage down, so gently contract, very lightly, but still keep the chest up. Raise the arms up again. Straight.
I'm getting pinched at the.
Okay, good. Okay, do you guys see the difference? Like he can straighten this a lot better. And now I'm seeing, because we only stretched, straighten that one if you can, and straighten this one, good. Okay, and now because we've only stretched this one side, there's a little bit of rotation. Rib
I
cage
can
down
feel it.
for you. Okay, so do you see that? As soon as I had him take his rib cage down, his arms went forward, so you can lower. Okay, so and turn around, bow, and everyone give him a round of applause. Okay, so you can see that just took not even 5 minutes, okay? So you can imagine if I did a full 2-hour stretch on him, he would probably see some transformations and some changes. My goal when I'm stretching someone, like I said, is to create space and create opportunities, because I want them, like I said, to go out there and live their best life, live in their authentic self, whatever you want to call it, live it in higher consciousness. Here are some of the life lessons I've learned being in the fitness and the recovery field. So some of the things that we say in our field is how breath affects your state, okay? And we already went through that. So we're gonna go through a little bit more of some breathing exercises, but I really actually wanna put it into play. So I'm gonna have you guys all stand up, please humor me. Okay, and we're gonna do a couple of movement assessments before we breathe and after, because I want to see if you feel a difference. Okay, so first we're gonna do, how would I want this? Okay, first we're going to do a a rotation. So you're going to take your hands across your chest. Okay, and can you guys see my feet? Okay, all I want you guys to do is I want to see pronation and supination, okay, eversion and inversion of the ankles, okay? So you're going to rotate or evert and invert to your right, okay? And then from your hips, you're going to squeeze your glutes in this shape from the hips to rotate, and then your shoulders, and then your head next. I want you to pause and assign a value to that out of 10. 10 being very smooth and easy, 1 being, oh, there's some restriction, then come back to center slowly. Okay, we're going to reset and do that again on the other side. Okay, so feet, hips, shoulders, neck. Okay, and I want you to assign a value to that as well, from 1 to 10, and then come back to center. Then we have one more move. Okay, you can release your hands. Okay, watch my hands are going to come behind me, and I'm going to, can you see my knees? Bend my knees forward, squeeze my glutes. I want hip extension, support your low back as you do a gentle back bend. Okay, I don't want you to go to pain. And then squeeze your glutes to come back up. Okay, do that one more time and you're going to assign a value to that. Okay, from a scale of 1 to 10. So knees, hips, gentle back bend. And then come back up. I know not everyone's used to doing back bends. Okay, you can release your hands. Okay, so have a seat. I want you to feel grounded, so make sure your feet are on the ground when you're sitting, and I want you to sit up nice and straight. Okay, I want you to close your eyes and be in your body. Just notice how contact with the chair. How's your spine feeling? How's your back feeling? Can you picture your organs? What you ate for breakfast today, what you drank today, what's happening in the stomach, what's happening in the gut. Maybe you're intuitive and you can feel connection to all of your organs. Maybe you feel your spleen. Maybe you feel your liver and what's happening there. Just want you to tune in and check in. What's happening with your diaphragm, your lungs? Are you able to fill them up, or is there some restriction happening? How are your shoulders? Are they rounded forward? Are they all the way up to your ears? Yeah, feel free to readjust. Your spine nice and upright. How about your neck? Are you sticking your head forward slightly? Maybe you can tuck your chin in a little bit. And pay attention to your jaw. Your eyes, are they darting back and forth with your eyes closed? Can you see if you can calm your nervous system by slowing down your heart rate, by breathing slower? Okay. A great way to calm your heart rate is by ensuring your exhalation is longer than your inhalation. Okay? So I want you to do a quick body scan, starting from the toes. Maybe wiggle them a bit. Feel connected to the toes. I want you to breathe into the arch of the foot. Breathe into the heel, the ankles. And breathe into the calf and the shins. And breathe into the front of the knees and the back of the knees. Breathing into the front of your legs, the back of your legs, your quads and hamstrings. Breathe into the hips, the glutes. Breathe into the front of the hips, where the hip flexors live. Breathe into your belly and your low back. Can you see if you can breathe into all the front and the back evenly as possible? It's a little challenging, I know. Can you breathe into your rib cage? Can you breathe three-dimensionally? See if your rib cage can expand all the way through. Breathe into your lungs. Fill out the lungs in the back as well, and the tops of the lungs. Just pay attention to the left versus the right. Okay, breathing into your shoulders, into your traps, let that go. And breathing down the arms, into the forearms where we have a lot of tension. Breathe into those wrists. those hands all the way through to the fingertips. Now breathe into your throat. Open up that throat. And breathe into your jaw. Soften your jaw if you can. Soften your eyebrows. I know we've got a yawn there. That's good. Want you relaxed. Soften your ears even. Maybe you feel tension around your ears and the crown of your head. Beautiful. Now we're going to do what I call a three-way breath. I want you to initiate your breath into your belly, and then your rib cage expands, and then your chest and lungs expand. You're going to do that all in one. So start with the belly, transfer the breath into the rib cage, your diaphragm, and then into the lungs, and then slow exhale. I want you to do that 3 times on your own. And just note if you're having difficulty breathing into some of those parts. Ensuring the belly is rising, rib cage expanding, lungs filling. Good. One last breath here with the three-way breath. And then one more is my favorite, directive breathing. So I'll have you place your left hand on your left side lower back. I want you to breathe 2 times into your left side lower back. See if you can expand into your hand. It'll be a little challenging. And when you're done, place your right hand on your right side lower back and breathe into your right side lower back. Twice for me. It's going to feel a little different. And then place your right hand in front of your right side lower abdomen. And I want you to really breathe and fill that out. See if you can breathe into the hip flexor all the way down there. Twice for me. And then place your left hand on your left side lower abdomen and breathe twice. See if you can relax the shoulders and the eyes and the jaws. Now place your hands around your waist and breathe into all 4 quadrants as evenly as you can with no judgment. And then relax your arms, slowly open your eyes. Look to the person nearest you or next to you. Smile, give them a little wave. And we're all going to stand up and we're going to reassess how our bodies feel. So stand on up. Okay. So we're going to do that rotation. Hands cross the chest, feet to start, hips, shoulders, and neck. And just notice if you feel a difference. Assign a number to that. And then come back to center and let's do the other side. Feet, hips, shoulders, neck. And come back to center. I want you to turn to whoever's closest to you and share if you felt a difference. Share with your number. We're going to do the back bend. It's a moment of truth. Let's see if anything has changed. Hands on your lower back. Let's draw our knees forward as far as we can. Squeeze our glutes hip forward. Ooh, hello. Wow. And then slowly, safely come up. Squeeze your glutes as you come up. Talk to your partner and tell them if you felt the difference. The number. All right, give them a pat on the back or give them a high 10 and have a seat. Great job, guys. You did it. Okay, so who had a change, even if it was like a point up or down? Yeah? Okay, who didn't feel a change? That's cool too. Very minimal. Very minimal, okay. But all I wanted to show you, the point of that was to show you how powerful breath can be to change your state, right? We talked about that, Dr. Vu. And so to take that moment, especially if you're feeling physical pain too, breathe and check in. Breathe and picture oxygen going to that area of tension, of pain. Okay, the next thing I wanted to share that we talk about in the fitness and recovery industry is that speed hides dysfunction. So I see you guys nodding your head. So if you're, for example, let's say you're doing a hip rotation, a hip circle. If there's an area that your body is restricted, it's gonna blast right through it. So our goal is, when I'm stretching people, is to see, yeah, go ahead and try it, is to see if they can control through full range of motion in every parts of the movement, okay? So, yeah, let's do it. Everybody stand up, please, why not? We've been sitting a lot all day, okay. We're just gonna do one side. You can hold on to something if you need some support for balance, but we're gonna lift that right knee up, and you're gonna take it to the side. Am I flashing you guys? I'm not, right, okay. And then take it behind, keep that chest up, and then down. And I want you to think about a circle, like a ball going through a bowl, and we want it to be nice and smooth. And I just want you to know where areas that are like click, 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 and you can't really get there, and you drop, and then your speed covers it up. So I want you to take a note of where those sticky areas are and hold it there. Find it and hold it. And see if you can extend that range a little bit. Okay, hold for 3, breathe, 2, and slowly release. Okay, and let it go, and have a seat. So that's just a little self-assessment tool you can give to yourself. If you're having any pain, maybe you check your movement first. Maybe the pain, after you see a doctor, etc., maybe the pain is not so bad. Maybe you can fix it yourself by just noticing, hey, where's this dysfunction happening? What can I do right now that can remove some of that pain? Pain is your body's way of telling you something's wrong, but it's not, it doesn't specify exactly what. It wants you to do the work to investigate, to figure it out. Okay, so that leads me to my next point. Okay. Origin of pain is not always where it presents. So whenever I'm working with clients and they always come to me with low back pain, I'm not just gonna dig into their low back, okay? We're gonna do some investigative work. We're gonna do these assessments. I'm gonna find out their full history. Have they had surgeries before? Have they had former injuries? What do they do all day? Are they just sitting? If they're a dental hygienist, are they leaning into one side? All of those things I have to consider. And they'll say, oh, can you just like work on my lower back? But in my mind, we already talked about fascia and how it's connected in different areas. I'm thinking about all of those things that you do. And also, I'm thinking about full body movement. Okay, when they're going into this rotation and they're feeling into the lower back, what else am I seeing? What's happening in the foot? What's happening in the neck? Right? What's happening in the spine? Right? Are there some compensations we need to fix and open up? I've stretched people who have a lot of money and have back pain. Okay, so there's another cool trick that I learned that I wanted to share with you. Pardon?
It's their relationship with money.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not an expert in like energetics. So are you? Because then people can ask you questions.
No, I've
Okay.
done a lot of work
Yeah.
on it myself.
Absolutely. And there's something to that as well. And so if anyone has, exactly, right? So if anyone has expertise on that, please share, because I've found that as well. And I'm not going to go into energetics when I stretch people, but there is something that I always consider, right? What's their state? What's happening in their life right now? Oftentimes what I'll do, and maybe we can do this with eye tracking, okay, is I'll have my client think of something that makes them happy. So let's say we're working on their low back or their hip, and that's where the pain is. I'll say, okay, I want you to breathe into your hip while I'm stretching them. I'll say, I want you to smile, and I want you to think of something that makes you happy. Usually it's their kids or their puppies, right? And then when we do the reassessment, the pain is almost gone, okay? Thank you for bringing that up, because that's really important. Okay, so reduce the perceived threat, reduce pain. So your body, when it's telling you, when there's pain, it's telling you something's wrong. But sometimes, if it's not something more medical, something that's a little bit more maybe psychological or somatic or energetic, we can reduce that threat of pain, and then we can remove some of that pain, okay? So oftentimes when people, who has low back pain or back pain in general, okay? Sometimes knee pain, shoulder pain, okay? There you go, yeah. So sometimes all we need to do is just reduce the perceived threat. We want to trick your brain. And so how do we do that? We're going to use some eye tracking, Okay? So when we turn on our visual system and we're looking, let's say our thumb, or following a ball in a sport, yep, and you follow it all the way back to a spot that you're not often in, what you're doing is tricking the brain, and I'll guide you guys through that. What you're doing is you're tricking the brain into thinking that there's no more perceived threat. You're using your eyes to say, oh, hey, there's no threat here. I can keep going. I can keep going. Okay, so we're gonna do a really quick eye tracking thing, okay, exercise. So have a seat, get comfortable. We're gonna just use our right arm, okay? Put your thumb out, thumbs up. Follow that thumbnail. Now, eye tracking is trickier than you think. There are going to, like we said, speed hides dysfunction. There's going to be parts where your eyes kind of flicker and look somewhere else and then come back to it. So you got to practice and get those reps in. So let's follow. I'm going to have you take your arm all the way up. Keep following. Rotate, turn your neck, everything behind you. Come down. Follow, follow all the way around. We're going to do that another time. Keep following that thumbnail. It's harder than you think. Rotate, use your full body mobility without pain, please. And don't forget to breathe. We're combining all the things. Now we're gonna do the same thing but opposite direction. We're gonna follow the thumbnail down. Reach even further back. You should have more space. You should have opened up a little bit more. And let's do one more round. And see if you can reach further, maybe a gentle back bend. Maybe take your neck and head all the way back and come back to front. Did you guys breathe? Did you guys forget to breathe? No. Okay, remember we said breath is powerful. So shall we just do one more assessment to see if eye tracking help with the back bend? So let's stand up, hands behind our backs. Okay, really important, but we bend the knees forward, squeeze the glutes, hip comes through. Oh yeah, oh, hello. Squeeze your glutes to come back up. Very simple concept. So use your eyes when you're driving. If your state is your physiological state and your nervous system's revved up, use your eyes and use your breath. Those are two things I really want you to take away with. What I want you to take away with this is to start with your body. So if you're feeling anxious, right? If you're feeling road rage, if you're feeling angry, like Dr. Vu said, is take a moment to breathe. Also check in. Okay, this is what I do with my therapist all the time. Okay, where am I feeling it? She'll be like, okay, don't worry about your emotions right now. Where are you feeling it in your body? Your body's trying to tell you something. I'll be like, I don't know, I'm feeling it, pressure in my chest, okay? Breathe into that chest. Listen to your body, sit with it. It's going to tell you some information. It's going to tell you stuff about your nervous system. It's going to tell you something about your emotional state. Then you're going to talk about what emotions am I feeling here. You're going to feel emotions stored up in those areas. And that's important because we got to release it. And that's a combination of a number of things. Movement, stretching, diet, any of those bioenergetic characteristics on the scheme, okay? I'm not the expert, so you can go back, refer to his notes, okay? The reason I wanted to leave you with all of those tools is because you can eventually have unbelievable transformations in your own life, how little and how small. Simple as eye tracking, simple as breath work, right? And simple as just moving your body in very small ways, okay? So you can see here, when I stretched him, his before and his after. Before is with the hat, after is without the hat, okay? So you take a look at his feet. I don't know if you guys can see very clearly. If you take a look at his feet, he has more ankle mobility in the after, okay? I love that his hips are more extended. He has more space in the hips in the after, more rotation in the hip. Remember we went through all of that? So all of those things. And then also his lats are more opened up, his trunk, his spine, his thoracic rotation is opened up, right? His upper back, his neck, you can see his chin now. So his neck has been elongated as well. So his spine is more upright. Do you guys see? And he's not crouched. This one, he's a little crouched over the ball. Here, he's upright, okay? Okay? And so whenever I stretch golfers, they love this. They feel a huge difference because what does it do? It helps with torque. It helps with power. Okay, so I just wanted to leave you with an image of Mark at his best, at his finest.
Bombing 300-yard drives now, so.
Oh, really?
I'm serious.
So can you say that again for everyone to hear, please?
I'm also bombing 300-yard drives. It's like 25 to 30 yards. I'm not kidding you.
Wow.
Yeah.
And if you golf, you'll know what that means. I don't know what that means. But it sounds great. Is that good? That's good, right? Okay. That's awesome. So why don't we give Mark another round of applause? So thank you. If you guys have any questions, I hope that was really helpful. Was that? Okay. Look at Dr. Vu. Feel free to come up to me. You can follow me on Instagram if you want more tips. I love sharing everything about stretch. I don't know, everyone's from all over the place, but I have therapists all over. So if you're looking for someone to stretch you, please reach out to me. This would take me forever to get back to it, but you can follow me at The Stretch Therapist on Instagram. Do you guys use Instagram? Okay. Pardon?
You were just in New York?
Yeah, we just did a course in New York. It was really awesome. Yeah, it was cool. And we have another course coming up in San Diego. If you feel like you want to become a stretch therapist, please come. I'll give you a discount. Thank you so much, guys. You were great.